And we should be live. Hi, everyone. I am here with Anders, who just won Zealand Open. Hi, Anders.
Hello.
Right. Anders, congratulations on your victory. That was the second time you've been in the finals at one of these major tournaments, and the first time you more or less, I don't want to go there, but threw it away.
I just started the game.
Yeah,
Basically, I went to rookie night. You told me to come to Winter
yeah,
War. I did.
yeah,
Learned the rules at Winter War. Basically, people were very nice.
yeah,
Finished like 14th, which is
yeah,
like I was learning rules. It's fine. Went to nationals with a bit more competitive mind and did pretty damn good.
yeah.
And then in the final,
Being in the
basically,
finals at the nationals, above me,
yeah,
by the way, for people at home.
yeah.
Anders
But
was above me.
We didn't play though.
We didn't
But
play. We have
I went
actually
to
yet to play each other in a tournament. We
yeah,
haven't.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
that's you.
yeah,
Yeah, but then I played Lasse, and I made rookie mistakes, and he didn't, and he drove it
yeah,
home. So that's
yeah,
fair, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. But this time you actually won it. So this is the winner's interview. What actually, what did you do before you started Bold Action, and how did you get into that?
Well, so I've always worked with children doing like role-playing stuff, and
Yeah.
tied to that, I've done a lot of model miniature games with the kids.
Mm?
Uh, I'm specialized in working with kids with autistic needs, and miniature games are amazing at getting them
Yep.
to connect. So that's kind of the way I got into it. And then I've played, of course, Warhammer 40K. I've played Flames of War a lot against
Yep.
some of the really good bold action players, actually. And
Yep.
that's like the way I got into it. And then I've actually had a break while I was studying and doing other stuff. And then I was at a fantasy tournament in Jutland, the Jutland Danish Open, whatever.
Yep.
And I actually won that tournament. But I was actually more concerned with the people playing bold action in the hall because it looked way more fun
Yeah.
than the game I was playing.
Yeah.
And I think that planted a little bit of a seed. And then my friend Ulrich was like, "I'm painting up some grids. Do you want to play bold action?" I was like, "Yeah, you know what? If I can buy a painted army,
Yep.
fair enough." And
I'll do
some
that.
nice people sold me
Yeah.
some painted models, and I tried it out. And here we
Yeah.
are.
And that was where you turned up at one of my rookie events, which is, and this seems crazy, it's less than half a year,
Yeah, I think
right?
it was 4 or 5 months, something like that.
Yeah.
Right? I played a total of like 15 games, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is crazy that now you have a gold medal standing on your shelf somewhere,
Mhm.
because that is very, very quick. Do you feel like you could use some of your previous gaming experience in bold action as well?
Yes, for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
You have the whole you can't measure stuff, and I
Mm,
played all the way back in Warhammer where you couldn't measure stuff.
yeah.
So that was still on point. Like that is 19 over there, that is
Yeah.
26. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you miss it, but you have it. You have that
Yeah.
tool.
Yeah.
And also, what drew me to bolt action was the whole you don't have a turn and the opponent has a turn.
Yeah.
Ambushing is a thing, snapping is a thing,
Yeah.
and that whole dynamic of setting up ambushes, move orders. I move there, you move there. I'll wait for you to do that, and then I'll do that.
Yeah.
That whole thing, I just I went straight into it. I
Yeah.
liked it. It felt natural. Some of my favorite computer games are also like XCOM and
Mm,
turn-taking RPG games. So for sure, because like I felt like 90% of the game I had in my backpack already
mm,
from all that stuff, and
yeah.
that's why I'm performing pretty okay for a
Yeah.
new player.
That is why bold action is pretty easy to get into if you've played 40K or the GW stuff. So yeah, because the rules are very recognizable. It's just the way that you engage with the turns that are very different, right? But
And
that in
wait,
itself is a lot cooler and more engaging.
I
Yeah.
love it. It's so great, and you don't have to wait. You're never in
Yeah.
that situation where you're looking at your opponent and you're going, "Well, I'm gonna go get a coffee and take a dump while you line up
Yeah.
your army and then roll
Yeah.
100 dice."
Yeah.
Where here it's like I'm interested in
Just
every
tell
move,
me what I lost afterwards. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what armies do you collect right now and play?
Well, I play British. I have Germans because I bought them painted. I also bought some Americans, but then I
Yeah,
was convinced to sell them again because basically people told me you can't play everything at once. I was like, yeah,
yeah,
you're probably right.
yeah,
And I'm painting up my first army where I'm actually investing in getting it nice, and I'm
yeah,
painting partisans because I think it's a great opportunity to make a unique army and play
yeah,
with weird stuff and have cool special rules, in my opinion. And
yeah,
I'm doing them in kind of like a summer comedy look with small animals and vibrant colors and stuff like that. Because like everybody has beautiful armies in this game. I
yeah,
played some players with armies that are like I had to stop and just look at the individual
yeah,
models sometimes. But all of them are very realistic, very grimy, very warlike. So I was like, I'm gonna do the opposite, just for
yeah,
fun.
yeah. That's my take on the partisans as well. I wanted vibrant colors as well when I made my army for that. Um, so I have noticed, and maybe you can tell me about it. I have noticed that when you build armies and you
Hmm.
run tournament armies, there's a very specific way you do it. You sort of have an army build, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Um, and I would say that you're building a most of the time you're using a variation of mechanized forces. Would you say that that's accurate? And how do you think about it yourself?
I think that's accurate. That's kind of the way I want to play. I want to be very mobile. I want to
Yeah,
have high threat at low cost.
yeah,
I want to make the enemy make risk reward decisions as often as possible so that he makes one wrong decision and
yeah,
then I push that part of the board. That's the
yeah,
main idea. But I think really that's just that's because of the way I look at the game. I think you do it the same way. Some of the other players I played at the tournaments do the same way. I look at every unit as a bubble. So,
yeah.
for example, I've been running Gurkhas, and
Mm,
everybody's been, oh, they're so great in assault. They're awesome. You can jump out of the car. You can assault people. I'm like, that's not why I
nah,
run them. I
no,
run them because you can't walk up and point blank them because then I will assault you. I
yeah,
don't care about the assault. I care about you not going within point blank because
yeah.
that means I can go down
They
on the
they
objective.
are a threat bubble. That's exactly what they are. Yeah,
So you'll leave me alone. I'll be on the objective with my Gurkhas. You'll probably
yeah,
mortar me a little bit, but
yeah,
that's fine.
yeah.
So, and that's the way I think about all my units. I bring Humbers. That's
Mm,
my MVP unit in both
yeah,
tournaments. I love them. And like, oh, but they didn't really kill anything. No, but your tanks spent the whole turn hunting them or being afraid of them, and they are cheap.
yeah,
So like
yeah,
I spent 200 points tying up your tanks and your flanks, and you are putting your AT rifles in ambush on the flanks, and I'm like, okay, but then I'll just drive the other way and take some pot shots.
yeah,
So I try to get the value, find units that easily can make up their points and value,
yeah,
so that I then can push the part of the field where I have an advantage.
yeah. And that is classic military tactics. That is concentration of force, right? You distract the
Yeah.
enemy with a little bit, and then you
Mhm.
push one point.
Yeah,
Um,
and I would say basically when I was reading, I wasn't even reading rule. I didn't get my rule book until like 3, 4 days before the nationals. So I was just watching your YouTube videos basically. But the recce rule,
yeah,
I love it because I
yeah,
think the recce rule is pretty good. But the better of a player you are,
yeah,
the better the rule gets. The better you are
yeah,
at analyzing the unit and the terrain,
yeah.
line of sight blockers, and sometimes you can even
And
use
where
your
you
own
need to
unit.
go with it, so that you know that you can recce away if you need to, but you can also recce up if you need to. And yeah,
And last turn movement, like, okay, he's going to shoot my Humber. I'm going to recce forward behind his wood. And then if I get
mm,
first dice, I can go up here, kill his company commander with my MG, stuff like that.
yeah,
It's again, high reward, low risk.
yeah, exactly. So many players, when they're at a table, will actually like mentally have a standard operating procedure when they go into they get their dice out the bag. What do
Mhm.
you think about when you're standing there playing? Do you have like I need to deal with this threat, I need to deal with this threat, or are you already thinking like 4 steps ahead, thinking, well, if he's going to, because you just described that to me, right? If he's going to push that, then I'm going to counter doing this.
Yes.
What is your thought process when you're at that point?
Yeah. So that's, I would say after deployment or first turn movement or whatever, I will
Mm,
like reanalyze the
mm,
table. Because at the beginning you look at the army list and the objectives and you go, okay,
yeah,
this is a hard scenario for me. I'm going to go for the draw, wait for mistakes, whatever, right?
yeah,
But after the deployment or first turn, I'll like reanalyze, and I'll say, okay, what's he going to do, and how can I exploit that? Because I know, like I know I'm not the chess player kind of guy. I'm not gonna outplay a guy like you if we just have a standard game. I thrive in chaos and doing the unexpected. So I need that to happen. I need the game to get ugly, and then I'll pull something out
and
of the
then
hat.
the opponent makes a mistake that you can exploit at that point. Is that it?
Yeah, kind of, and not even just a mistake, just an oversight or something stressful or getting pushed into like, oh, I need to get this objective now, and I'm like, but do you really? Because if I then kill you and get it later, I'm up on kill dice. Stuff like that. So I think it's that adaptability. I know that's my strength, and I do not want to play the bogged down standard game of bolt action, because then I'm loose. And then I do, because I played Warhammer for years, I do all the numbers. So like whenever people move or shoot, they go like, I think you can even hear me doing it in some of the videos where people are like, oh, I'm going to shoot, do you want to go down? And I really quickly go 9 shots, 4.5 hits, 2.5 dead bird casts times this, that. I need to move there, shoot you there. No, I won't go down. Like, you need to do that quick math, but you also need to do it fast enough so that you're not slowing the game or being an unsportsmanlike. So, but I know I can do that in like maximum of 5 seconds, and then I can decide: do I want to go down? Do I want to recce?
Because as soon as you've played Warhammer or 40k for a number of years, the dice math of a d6 becomes more or less intuitive, right? You know how many hits and kills you'll get.
It's really important, because loads of times in these 2 tournaments, I've taken chances. People are like, okay, I'm going to shoot at your humper with this autocannon. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it. Because it's more important for me to then move my officer up, make the order test, and run my humper up in your backfield. I'll take that chance, because as soon as I'm up there, you're in trouble. There's like a 5% chance I'll get a penetrating hit, but then there's also a chance that it won't mobilize or kill me. So I'm like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take that chance.
So without going into like play-by-play, could you just tell us, during this tournament of Zealand Open, what do you think were the most like key moments that brought you to the final table and won you that game as well?
I think some of the key moments were my game 2. I played against Manuel. People told me before the game, be careful. He is one of the best players in the world. I talked to him. He's an extremely nice guy, and we had a great game. Very competitive, very gentlemanly, lots of laughs, and we were getting the TO while we were laughing and being like, yeah, I get your point, you get my point. It was great. But I think that game made a difference, because I was actually winning that game, and then it ended up in a draw. And that's where I got like the feeling of, okay, I can actually do this. Play 50-50 with some of the best people in the world in this game, as long as I don't make the rookie mistakes. And I did make a couple, and they did cost me, but I came back. Then I was lucky enough to have a good position before game 5, where I needed a draw, because I had a ton of kill dice. Only Dan van der Rohe had as many as me, and he was 3 points behind me. So I knew,
because Danny was absolutely killing it on dice, but not actually getting the wins that he needed to get to the top tables.
Exactly. So I needed a draw in game 5 against Christian Lundvald. And I've played him before, and I've also played him back in the days in Flames of War. So I know that he is a very good player, and he plays an army that he's played 100 times. So I was like, I really need this game to be chaotic in order to win it. But then I stopped myself, because I talked to you a couple of times about getting too aggressive, going for the win. Like, you know what? I actually don't. I just need to get 3, 4, 5 kill dice. So I'll trade units with him if he wants to. And I need to get the draw. And I played game 5 like that. He was on the one side of the table with his tanks. I was on the other side with my tanks. He had 2 objectives he could take. I had 2 objectives I could take. We went back and forth, and in the end of the game, I sacrificed my humbers to contest. He won with 2 kill dice, with I think 1 kill dice something. It was a draw, and I went into the final. So I think if I had played
actually stopping yourself from going into I want to win, I need to, because that's also when you take a little bit of a chance, right?
The bloodlust, right?
So that is actually, that's the mark for me of a great player, someone who can change their tactics and go for what they need to get the win for the tournament and not for the game.
I think that's the difference between this tournament and the Nationals, which was my first big tournament, where I went into the finals against Lasse. I was like, I need to destroy him. And I was like, but I actually don't, because he has a lot of soft units and I don't. I just need to play it safe, sit back and take shots. But I didn't make this mistake that time. Then I went into the final, which was also against Christian. And that's where my play style really benefited me, because we had a great back and forth battle. It was very 50-50. And then in turn 4, I make a huge rookie mistake. And I was so salty that I told Christian, can I take 30 seconds? He was like, yeah. Step back from the table. I was like, oh, I'm an idiot.
That was the one where I came up to you and said, this is the way you play it, right? Because I had to step in as the TO and make a ruling there, and it went against you. And I thought that potentially at that point that Christian was going to win it. I was like, I even said it to one of the other TOs. I said, I see a way forward to win for Christian, but I don't see it for Anders. I think Anders can get a draw, but I don't see the win.
I said the same thing to Christian. I said, unfortunately, I think that was it, and I'm a little bit salty. It's not your fault. Can I take 30 seconds and then try to come back? And he was like, yeah, sure, man. No problem. I would be salty too. Because it was basically, we speed played a little bit because we were slow in the beginning, feeling each other out. So he had placed the dice next to his white scout car with a peer team in it. And that dice had like rolled over to being down. So I mistakenly thought the peer team was down. So I put my Gurkhas on the objective to grab the objective. He went out
meant that he could move out and contest because they were down.
I could just place my Gurkhas a little bit different to bubble him off from contesting and taking that objective. And that's a 6-point swing.
Or, you could have assaulted him and killed the peer team and then be on the objective.
No, because the Gurkha move, taking the objective, was a consolidation from assaulting the guys on the objective.
Ah, okay.
See? So I didn't misplay. I misread the dice. And as you told me, I should have known because I knew the car moved and shot. So I knew there should be a dice by the car. And you are right. But in the moment, I was a little bit salty because like, I'm an idiot. Am I throwing the final again? But I came back. Christian had made, I think it was a mistake. We talked about it afterwards. He had the other half of the table. He had his objective in his backfield. He had inexperienced troops behind the field, and the idea for him was to go up and grab that.
And he did move up.
He did, but not fast enough. And I then shifted over my army and shot everything and got it pinned. And then I put up some ambushes with a Sherman so that he couldn't move. And I pushed up and I actually grabbed all 3 objectives on that flank, which made him have to counter push. I grabbed the kill points and I actually ended up winning with like, I think 11 points or something. So, but it was like on knife's edge. It could have gone either way in both matches against Christian. I could also have lost to Manuel. So, but I'm happy. It worked out.
When you prep for such a tournament, how do you do that? What's your plan? Do you like read people's lists and plan for opponents? Do you how do you plan before the tournament?
Okay, so first I try to figure out the meta. This tournament we didn't have the player pack.
No.
Which meant you needed to be like, okay, can I figure out what Bo and the guys are thinking? And I think I hit that because I was like, okay, there's gonna be like 6 games. They're probably not gonna do like the complicated missions in the beginning. So that means they're playing something like this and that in the first couple of games. And I was like, okay, that means you're probably not allowed to outflank in the last 2 games, which are the important games. So I'm gonna bring vulnerable sides, really cheap heavy armor. Because I think the meta is light tanks and recce. So actually for my 1250 list, I brought a Lee and a Sherman with no upgrades, and I brought 2 anti-tank guns, a 25 pounder and a light AT gun. And the idea was to put the guns in ambush, have them front armor 9, and just say, no outflanking, bring it. And then the artillery observer to punish you if you don't bring it. And it worked.
So you actually, you read us like a freaking book, because that was exactly our thought process when picking the missions. So that is actually great tournament play, actually trying to figure out what is going to happen in the different missions and then building your list to fit that
Mhm.
and suit that. That is really good. What about when you know the matchup? You're being matched up against Manuel in game 4, right? What do you do then when you know who your opponent is and what his list is?
So actually, I think I gotta be careful about what I say here, but because I think all the games I had was great. All my opponents was really, it was good games, good fun. It was actually
Mm,
one of the tournaments I've ever been to with the most positive language and
yeah,
body language. So that was very nice. But I kind of play the player, to be honest. I look at
yeah,
the table, I look at the points I need, I look at the kill dice, and I say, okay, I'm playing Manuel game 2. He is a really good player. I
mhm,
won my first game and I got, I think, 5 kill dice.
yeah,
If I draw against Manuel and get 2 or 3 kill dice, I'm still in contention because he is
yeah,
also one of the players I would figure
yeah,
would go to the top.
yeah,
So I don't need to push for the win because the
yeah,
loss could be really bad.
yeah,
And then in some of the other games, I look at my opponents and I go, I need to win this. This is one of
mm,
the games where I need to grab 3 points and a boatload of kill dice so I can
yeah,
go to the top.
yeah.
And I think that's a little bit harsh to say sometimes, but I
No,
think
this is a mental game. It's a game where you are matched against your opponent, and if you figure out I can do this, and then I'm in a better position, that's what you're doing.
then I think you also still have a responsibility, and I really try to do that. So, like
Yeah,
when I recognize that the person I'm playing, if I think, okay, I can really beat this guy and
mm,
take this match with a
yeah,
boat of low kill dice and move forward, it's still my responsibility to make it an enjoyable match. So I will
exactly.
still have
Yeah,
banter, and I will compliment him for his moves and his army
mm,
if it looks
mm,
nice and all that
mm,
stuff. Offer him a drink, all that stuff. That's what it's all about. I think a great
yeah,
example of that is the first game I had against Mark Milstead. We
yeah,
had a great game, but Mark basically threw the game turn 1.
yeah,
And in that game, I didn't know who he was, never heard
mm,
of him, never
yeah,
played him. So I didn't know if he was a really good player or somebody I should win against. So I was a little bit hesitant.
yeah,
But he moved a car up,
mm.
like a soft skin transport with people in it. And I had a clear line of sight. And I
Oh,
was like, "Okay, in 400 points, that's it.
I'll take it. Yeah,
I'll take it." So I just moved everything in, killed the
mm,
car, got pins on the guys. 5 veterans with SMGs, killed one, pins on them, and that made it so that I could push the rest of the
yeah,
game.
yeah,
But we still had a great game
yeah,
and we still had a good time.
yeah,
So I think that's like the way
yeah,
you should.
yeah. And maybe especially when you know you're going to win. For me at
Mhm.
least, I'll be extra nice. I'll
Yeah.
always try to be nice to my opponents, but when you know that you're winning, yeah, just you know. What about the tables? Were you prepped enough for the tables that you were actually facing on this tournament?
No,
No?
no. No, I have to say that like we're talking about the prep, the list, all that stuff, but most of that is just shower thoughts
Yeah,
from
yeah,
my side. I didn't have the time. I'm renovating an apartment I just bought, and
mm,
I have other hobbies and stuff. So the prep is mostly like writing other bold action people I know.
yeah,
Hey, what do you think about this?
yeah,
And so, no, not really. I did then when I played the matches, I looked at the tables and they
mm,
factored in deciding how am I going to play this.
mm,
Against Manuel, for example, I won the roll off, and it
mm,
was a table with ruins on one half and a big open park on the other, and you
yeah,
needed to get to the opponent's quarter.
yeah,
So immediately I went from, okay, I need to draw against Manuel, so I might be able to push a victory because now I have the side of the table where he doesn't want to go because he plays
mm,
all cavalry.
yeah,
So that I think that actually pushed the game a little bit into my favor and changed my perspective. So instead of
mm,
just hunkering down for the draw, I was like, I'm in ruins. I'm going to push up my Gurkhas because he doesn't want to charge them,
yeah.
and he's not mobile enough to get away from them if he wants to contest the objective.
Right. So what if we're talking like advice for other players, because this is a winners interview because we want people to learn from you
Yeah,
guys. So what would your advice be for newer players? Because you are both a newer player and at the same time a winner. So
yeah.
people just getting into the hobby, what would your starting advice be?
But I think first of all, it's I hope I can be some kind of motivation for people who
Yeah.
go, oh, I want to play bolt action, but people are very good at it and all these strategies and all this stuff. Just go for it.
Yep.
Just go for it. We had a guy, Victor. He came in fourth. He's 14 years old.
Yep.
Like I talked to some people after the tournament. I was like, that guy, that he's the real winner.
Yeah.
Like I'm 36 years old. I've played war games for 20 plus years. I win a tournament. Okay, it's cool. He's 14.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
Yep.
Right? Like go for it. And if you're afraid of going to tournaments, you think, oh, the community is this and that. No, people are extremely nice. And I just want to give a shout out. I already didn't comment on your other video because I saw one of the players do something that I think is amazing.
Yeah.
Thor was playing Christian Lyngvall.
Yeah.
Placement match to go into contention for winning the tournament.
Yeah.
They had a rules misunderstanding. And after Thor gets the draw he needs, he goes to the TOs and says, give me the loss because it's probably on me, the misunderstanding. That is
wow. Yeah.
That is top tier.
That is like, top tier, gentlemen. Yeah.
And we can play tournaments and it's like, oh, I won because I got the lucky table, I got the lucky dice. I played well, but those are the guys that make the tournaments worth going to because that is awesome.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So just get into it because even the players who finish in the bottom and get the wooden spoon, they had a great weekend, and we have a reverse prize order. So if you turn up as a new player, you can even borrow an army. It's not a problem at all. I'll borrow you an army. Bo will borrow you an army.
Definitely.
You can play, and you'll probably go home with loads of stuff because people will recognize, oh, you're a new player.
Enough to build an army because, like,
people would be like, oh, I'll actually grab this box of Americans and give to you because while we were playing, you told me you might want to get into Americans. So it's great. My friend Ulrich, he has a full-size German army. He didn't pay anything for it.
Yep.
He just got it as presents from people at tournaments and you and stuff. So just go for it. It's a very cozy tournament environment, I would say.
And for players who may be a little above that, but who want to win tournaments, what would your advice be for that? So now we've talked about beginning players, but now these are maybe like players who want to be competitive and want to do a little bit of winning.
Mid-table, but they want to push up.
Yeah, they want to push up into the top fives. How do you do that?
I would say get out of your comfort zone. Like if you have a play style that works, like after nationals, I was considering just running the same stuff. Because it worked. But then I went, okay, but then I'm never going to get better than I am now. So I went more into heavy tanks and fixed guns. Try something new, right? And the thing is, you can't beat someone playing a play style if you don't know that play style. So I would say mix it up. It doesn't matter if you lose your first 10 games because you're trying out everything. Because now you know, okay, he has infiltrators with whatever. He has these units. He's running a lot of Recce. You know, okay, I know how to play Recce, so I know how to beat Recce.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the way you do it. And of course, there are some limitations because you can't buy and paint a new army every tournament. But that brings us back to the community where if you go on the bold action page and I would like to play 5 Recce vehicles. Can anybody bring some for me? Everybody's going to say, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
We'll
find it.
Yeah.
So those are 2 good advice for beginning players and for middle standard players. Anders, thank you so much for coming on the channel and talking to us. And congratulations again on your victory. What is next for you personally?
I signed up for Jylland Open.
Yep.
Yeah, list delivery in I think 6 days, 7 days, and I think I'm going to play Germans. So that's a problem for me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to figure
something
that out
to occupy your thoughts in the shower again.
Yeah, exactly. Like figure out this and that, and the Brandenburgers and reserves and all that. Yeah, it's going to be great. That's the fun of the game for me. And then I think after talking to you, Danny, or some of the other international level players, I think that's the next step for me to try to get into an international team and go out and experience that. See if I can participate on that level. I don't know yet. It's only been a couple of months. I've played less than 20 games, as I've said. So I could have gotten lucky with the draws, with the tables, with the opponents. So I might have a downslope now where I stop performing at this level. But if you aim for the 10 level, you might land at 8, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which is not bad.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So that's the plan.
Thank you so much for coming on. And that was it from us today. See ya.